Okay, today is July the 9th, Sunday evening, about an hour and a half after the weekly open. Let's do the market outlook and plans for the week ahead. So let's go ahead and start off with our news events for the week. This week we actually have quite a few things going on. So on Monday we have FOMC talks, which isn't going to be that important. But what we do care about this week is going to be on Wednesday we have the CPI, and then on Thursday we have the PPI. So the most notable event is going to be the CPI on Wednesday. So as we've talked about in previous videos, I don't think that we need to worry about too much volatility coming in on these events, as it does seem like the expected vol has died off, but it's still important to make a note of these things and have a bit of a plan around it. So that's pretty much it for that. Let's go ahead and get into equities. So where we're at with equities, I definitely covered this on both my streams last week, but I feel like we're at that point where equities have been overextended for a little while, and there's definitely clear signs of momentum loss. So I'm leaning pretty bearish on equities just for the time being. I would have zero interest in shorting them, but I'm just using it for confluence with how I'm going to be trading crypto. The correlations are pretty weak with regards to when equities are trading up, but when they trade down, the correlations are still quite high. So in short, I'm using that for confluence, which is tying in with my Bitcoin thesis, which is a little bit more conservative right now. So with the clear momentum loss signs on equities, I think that I'm expecting at the very least consolidation and probably more likely a little bit of blood coming into equities this week. So that's it for boomer markets. Let's go ahead and get into the markets that I'm actually trading. So let's cover Bitcoin. So a few different things to cover here on Bitcoin. Basically, the TLDR is I'm risk off going into the week. I am leaning, more conservative / bearish going into the beginning of this week. I would love to get disproven and get invalidated on that because, as you guys know, I'm definitely better at profiting off of the up moves. But, I have to play with what the market gives me. And currently, I'm getting warning signs. So as it stands, on the higher time frame, we're still in a bull trend. I don't have any interest in selling off my spot, but at the same time, I've been able to profit from all these up moves that we've had, and I don't want to round trip my profit from the 25k up move that I secured. So I have locked everything in with hedges. Basically, what I'm looking for is, if we break down from this composite, the first kind of region to look at is going to be around the upper 28s, lower 29s. That's going to be around the yearly standard deviation bands and the 2022 macro comp. So that's the main first area I'll be looking for. I could potentially end up pivoting back to being bullish down there. If that doesn't hold, then we're probably looking a little bit lower into the 28, lower 28s, upper 27s kind of region. If that doesn't hold, I don't really think I want to bet on the 25k region again. So our core, higher time frame levels are basically 30k, which is resistance, 25k, which is support, and then 20k, which is also support. I'm probably not going to gamble on 25k again. So if these kind of upper levels that we talked about failed, I'm probably going to get pretty bearish at that point and expect us to be trading down into the 20k region. So the 20k region is probably the final line in the sand if the upper supports don't hold, to where I might look to compound my risk. If I don't want to get too far ahead. I want to play it level by level. So that is my plan, but I don't really want to worry too much about what my plans are going to be at 20k because, frankly, just getting ahead of ourselves, worrying about that when we have several levels that are in between there. So that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is worrying about, like people were talking about 12k and all these things. None of that shit matters because we have so many levels in between there. You need to worry about the levels before any of these massive, drawdown kind of levels. And, if we get bearish enough, I'll address levels like 12k, but it doesn't make sense to worry about those things just yet. So that's pretty much the TLDR on everything on Bitcoin. What I need to cover, though, is my invalidation for my bearishness. So basically, if we were able to reclaim the quarterly VWAP and reclaim the 2022 macro comp, which was also going to line up with the current macro comp that we're in, so basically around 30.6 up to like 30.7. If we're able to reclaim that stuff, that's where my hedges are going to get invalidated. I'm going to pivot back to being bullish. I don't really see that as being particularly likely with how sluggish equities are looking, and frankly, Bitcoin as well. So That's pretty much it. It's important to obviously have an idea of what it looks like if you're wrong, though. I hope that that's something that you guys always take away from my plans. I have my plans for if things go well and if things go poorly for me. Last thing on Bitcoin before I move on to altcoin stuff is that, the only thing that's holding Bitcoin up right now is the composite low and the fresh daily VWAP. I really think that it's just a matter of time before these regions are lost going into the beginning of this week, but it is always a scenario where we do, continue to develop and hold above this, daily or fresh weekly, whichever you want to refer to it as. It's the same right now. There's always a scenario where I preempt my hedge invalidation or my bearish invalidation and get long before that. Sometimes I do like to preempt my invalidations when I get that, tingling sensation. Just having a lot of experience in markets sometimes is good to preempt your plans. I don't really see myself doing that, but I'm just going to throw that out just in case I do end up doing that and it doesn't seem like I'm totally crazy in the middle of the week if I say I pivoted. So that's pretty much it for the corn. Let's go ahead and get into some altcoin talk. For more information, check out the Paragon group with the link below, where I cover everything from how I trade to how you can develop your own style. So my main focus on altcoins is probably going to be, first off, on higher time frame, it's going to be trying to short things. I don't really like swing shorting on altcoins all that much, just because in the blink of an eye, when people start closing out their shorts, your profit just gets round tripped so quickly because of how illiquid these books are. So I'm going to be aggressive with taking profit on these shorts. I'll call it somewhere in between intraday and swing, where I'm maybe trying to hold it for a couple of days or so, but definitely not going to be trying to hold swing shorts for weeks or anything like that. That's not my style at all. So let's go ahead and cover a couple of them. So frankly, it doesn't really matter what altcoins you choose to short. If Bitcoin's going to trade down, they're all going to get smacked down pretty hard. But here's a couple of the ones that I was really looking at. So BCH has been, definitely on my radar. I was really enjoying longing it, but the trend structure has definitely shifted and it's looking very distributive right now. So if we get back into the HVN and, say above 280 or something, then, I would probably be actually kind of bullish on it. But as long as we're below that and as long as the quarterly VWAP looks like it does, shorting BCH seems pretty reasonable to me. Shout out to Charlie because he's definitely one of the, people that shorted it aggressively early on. It's not my style to trade like he did with that one, but I gotta, pay respects because he was early to it. So BCH looks good for a short. I think that these two leading DeFi coins look good for shorts as well. So Compound, basically the same type of setup as BCH, and Aave, more or less the same as well. I'm not going to try to short into fresh lows or anything, but if I see pops, I might try to sell into these. Arbitrum is a good example. There's a lot of altcoins that are going to look like this. So Arbitrum is a really good example for something I might try to short as well. And then the last one is going to be Tomo. So I talked about this on the stream last week. Tomo definitely, I actually just got one of my first alerts on the first, excuse how ugly my drawings are. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to try to be an artist here or anything. But my two plans were either kind of pop into this HVN or pop into this HVN and fade both of them. So the first one, we already got, my alert went off at $1.24. It would have been awesome if I had just aped into a short right away, but I'm trying to be conservative with how I trade this stuff. Just because Tomo is historically super illiquid. This is a perfect example. I'm not trying to get blown out by one of these kind of moves, so I want to be conservative with how I play shorts on this kind of stuff. So Tomo might be one that I short. It's kind of a beautiful scenario how Tomo was one that, throughout quarter two, this is one that I was just continuously longing. I've been talking about this for probably a month now or so, that Tomo had a lot of warning signs over here. Leaning into shorting Tomo is probably a pretty reasonable idea moving forward. Apart from that, there are a lot of other altcoins that you could lean bearishly on. It's really just, to each their own. Pepe is another one that I'm going to keep a close eye on. My plan for Pepe was, as long as we held the anchored VWAP, that I was going to be bullish on it. But it does look like we're losing it. So Pepe might be one that I'm at the very least actively trading, and I might even be trying to do a directional short on it. So that's a good segue for the active bit. This week I plan to do mostly scalping / higher frequency intraday trading. I don't really want to sit on on shorts too much. If I'm going to be trading bearishly, I'm probably going to be locking in profits really aggressively as things play out. Just because that's my style for how I like to short. I'm much more comfortable sitting in longs for longer periods of time than I am with shorts. That's just something that I've learned through studying my own stats and trading. You know, I've been trading for 8 years now, and something I've noticed with longing and shorting altcoins is that I really need to be aggressive with how I take profit on my shorts, because I've had a lot of really bad experiences with round tripping P&L. So that's pretty much it. To TLDR on alts is I'm probably going to be pretty bearish on all of them, and try to be scalping a lot. So that's pretty much it for the week, guys. Stay safe out there, and good luck to everybody. Cheers.